Mama nyina adwuma makwa ba de mo ban mre no nsia kase wo KFM TV eso ene ye fiada na November boso menim so fiada etwa to wa fimpi mienu ne aduonum ni ye nhia ne biem na ebre na wie du sensem ahodo a yakeka bom sa kan kase ndo hwe ba kontemu no yetime de ba ebe somo na de bia ne abrane etena sese dia ne eda aboafo wono mase KFM Musical Center wo boye tridom instrument bia wo hia bia e wo sa kwan ne so ebeboa wa wo yanyumtuni wo man Ghana ha no o mo chese beji bi fedu da da adwuma ba bia ne nkoyin fa ma wo ebo no eda form say boko wo po mecha kwan ne dia nkran mantem ha wo mo wa Accra Zongo Lane wo wa Santemantem so akopie mu e wa adum wo mo ne Sambra Hotel no ebo enimhwe bibia e fa instrument ne wo aka de bia no wo be ma bia ma bia na e kama kama etimi ede amawo mekanfo na dia ma we na enwumre kopie mu a obehwe na ebo ne soso sene da form no wo mehwa bibia ye ekoba se sikasem ne nso a wokọ na anyom kokasa wo betete ne kaka nkra unya kakra de akoto so unya kakra de atoso kosi se bebo ano no no akwa akofa instruments esate nyina anye paint we ne hihye ye omo ya ma obi a se be ya obetimi enye bi na yemfi ho ne enko talent microfinance no ya aboafo no toso mienu talent microfinance ya bia ya wono masika na sika ede ma on besia asi ho kitwa bi da ho ne si beji bi koye adwuma beji bi ka wode ho pagya wadwuma mu na adwuma ne nya kra behwe na wi a de be ka echi abetete na ba be ye odwetira de be bo aboso ano na ne wo de ba be bobra ama bibia na koyi kama etimi edi ama omo de aba ne nyina no moto nsa de afro bia opesa brabo ne koyi de ma wo sika semu no bra no mo hihye ne ye kama etimi fama manta medunsia ne munsia omu bo adwuma de ben wa beti talent microfinance din no kopie mu ohwe na omo hwema bibia anye yie e wo sikasem ho emfa emma ye free ho ne enko dada ba tech hub eno so ye phones ne ho accessories phone bia wo hia bia no fitiyam kosi iPhone no de aba ne do so pomu pa ne bebrebe mu sene wo pe no wo bia oton phones wo pe bia to akwakoton ni nyina no dada ba obi e wo na kache okọ ho ono so be sorti wa asam bibia kama ibedi bronya abecha ade ni nyina no kopie ma phone se ne openi bia no ene ebo no ededa form boko warranty ne so edan ne so ye pa o how bi be chire krati mi sa dan we ni de ko o how bia so ma chire no eno che se adwuma eno mo bo wo ho na so se ne ye obroni ade a abefo kwan so bedi nkita odi hu no eya na warranty eda so nti wo kwa ni nyina ne de dada na akwema obehwa ma bibia kama etimi dia ma na chia kwan ne nkran mantem he ya kopie mu ewo kaneshi bia ya emrante ni gina pai takwa station ehyen no dada ba tech abo ho wo bo adwuma tumi ni ahoden so den anya asem keto akran yume komi ensen ene bra ni abra no ne bia omo boye chidom ye den sem ahodo ne timi bremu ewo mu fiefie mu mo offices na afi mabobo ano ne bebia mo hweye wo sa kwan ne so nsem ne do so ene enwumre yen hwe de edi mu akotene no ebi ye be kwen pipi ameni okuo no wono makache no wonyafo kojo opon kroma kasa ne nsem no wo kasa de afa primary sa eno ba be koso ye afia ye ba be sim no chese obi anya ni da ho bra om de kokromoti be hye nipa ba ko a afimpi mienu ne eduonu wo tro be gine mahim franka e de ama NPP ameni okuo ne mu nsem ho a obetie wo kase ni mu Samson ye be konsem foforo mu e de ama mo eye na kunedo Ajiman Rollins a wonya ne baby croy ne nedue ena ebusu akokata na chikrakra na emma wono debate asefo asase so abade nam ne so no ena attributes ahodo na no muhwe gude ma omo maame a ensem bebre na wo say yiyo ni mu ene e course a obetie wo akan kase no mu ebi ye bebo eransem foforo emo eye OSP ene afin so SML wo mo dwumedie ni deal ahodo ene ye ho nsem akwakoye bibie wo ho a gentre ha wo man Ghana ha no eno so obetie sanse update for kraba wa edimu nchemu ni amanebo no ebeba bedan yebebo ewe ni gide ensem mo na ye odobroni eni akosu ase wa wono ma asisi ano dadi lumba yiri mienu mo be ware o mo bra na oti ati asfati ase suzu no woni ho no ene mentimu ase ne ntokwa bebre na na ekoso ne nyina no we chese na bedi kuna we na chese da bi unse fata me na miye kunani ene asem na chinchin a ene update for so about ansem ni mu a ye de besomo e wo kase no mu nsema foforo binom eka we ho e don hwe ba kontemu o ka me ho a na nchemu no yetimi e de asomo saa kwan so na mfonyina ahodo ekeka ho ebata ho nyina so ye de etwe gu live e wo TV ne so etimi e de ama edin no e ye fiafo sua odi ahoma sesrebidi frame me fia me ba sisi a me ba pa ye hye na se e de ama Eusainda CBM near more qua banshen semna say na you farm out dia may call the New Patriotic Party NPP amenu ko no wono makache ho na mjana sisia na senye ene adehye no mo fa forms o mo hwe ni musafin pimienu ne aduonu nsia General Bosom ne de atwa to presidential primaries no wo mo tro a delegate ahodo betimi de kokomoti na chom na de obehwe di nkudi mo sa kwan ne so no afin pimienu ne aduonu wo twe wono ne begye no him franka Ediama NPP amenu ko no bra bato kese ne bekoso ewo man Ghana ha no munyamfo kojo pon kroma no ye ofo ase ayebi ma hye bedwe ne agina simpie ne apaso de sembebre na atoja wo chem se adehye no mi ekoba se o ye delegates na abetro aba no eya afia ye ba besimu na ye ni da hopa sanse obia gina ho a ne nsem ahodo de tudwa no na ebe kire sa so asumesi anase obenten o se fata si ebetimi ato ne so aba no wejine mama eya ameni okuoni na bibia akoye kura wa behwe mo man ne nhyehyɛ ne nkan konetimi akonanim enye sese bi obi aba de sika na ase mpo oba begina se yento aba ne mana na yeto se da bi enye ne sa na odan ya kansem no kopie mu e Bible mu bra eya ohine King Solomon ene emamienu ba ko kyese ne be wesi ne ba wesu se ne ba ba ko anu aka na kyese de ono aye maame a oka ba ko ne ho no kyese nkebe ya ye ntwa akwala ne mu mienu sanse o mu mienu na ye ono mba wesi ene dia wesi ene dia nso hini King Solomon tena ase anyansafo dwendwen ohun se de oka se ye ncha abofra ne mienu no wono na abofra na enye ne dia na emom de oka se ye ma abofra ne ntena no onyina ene ye nyina ebetimi asoma no wono na abofra no eye oni ankasa nti se ne odan na ni de eye hwekronkron no eye mfato ho no kyese obi betena ho na oka ne nsem bia dwendwen hu sensem ode tu bedwem no wo beta se mampanyi anase mpo beta se frankatuni a obetimi ahwe amoman na kɔ nanim ana sa na ade kokromoti no etimi ache ne nsem ode tu dwa no eni
First Kings 3:16 ahemfo woma edikan etre miensa inchichemu dunsia kukurudu ehona ohen na ye friend Solomon no ema mienu epre akwara ho oba na ne ba ewu no obeka kire ohen ne se onya den onfa sekan no onya den ontwa akwara ne mu mienu na Bible say ohen Solomon yankopon ma ne nyansa otena ase no ohun se nia eye ne ba no ono no wa badaye nti ompese akwala ne ye be den bitwam nti ne oka se da bi mepekroye me ntwam no ono no hin Solomon bu ase akwala yi ne ba odino ye fema no abribia me ne mudi nkomo se abato breso a fa wani to fom na hwe wonu ma ejina nyina nkomo a omudi Uba se bimu nkomo no eye nkomo a ede enkabom ene ekroye ene ekan ko eba ebimu nkomo no te se oba na o Bible no mu se yemfa seka anye den yentwa akwala no mienu kugurudu
ye free MPP ameni oko nim na ye den sem foforo ato aso na enyumeti mi e di ama eye maame Nana Konadu Agyeman Rollins na chese kane no na wo ye former first lady e wo my Ghana high nei won ka ati asefo bi mbotwa nani ahweban na hyehye mu ne dwumadi mu enedue na mpanyifo edigu akwam se omo de yi okese no ebe hyehye so na state barrier no eni etwa gu dendenden a na enya asem keto akra na numu na enie wono mo omodo ma mi bra wote ase ne nema hodo obeye se first lady ɛna afei nso mpo nneɛma ahodoɔ a ne nkyekyerem no ɔbɛkeka bɔ mu ɔman no timi kɔɔ n'anim wɔ saa kwan ne so nyinaa no ɛne no de ne nyinaa ba awie yɛn nti wohwɛ yɛn kasa mfonyini ne so a mma a ɔbɔ adeɛ de dom wɔn no wɔne ɛyɛ mampanyin a wanya ne baabi kɔ Jerry John Rawlings ɛma ɔmo bɛgya ɔmo atiasefo asase so na ne ɔmo nyinaa ɛnam anakyɛ sɛ ɛyɛ arɛhɔ kwan so a ne nyinaa no ɔmo maame ɛna waka ne nsa gu ne bo a ogu adaka mu a ne ho nsɛm na akɔyɛ bibi a ɛwɔ hɔ na ɛyɛ maame Ajimai Rawlings ɛyɛ adeɛ sɛ na nkɔfo bebree na aka nsɛm pii na ɛde fa ne ho ne dwumadiem ne ne hyehyɛm nneɛma ahodoɔ bɛyɛ nti wohwɛ sɛ ne mfonyini no ɛretwa gu deɛ a na kyɛ sɛ ɛyi yɔ ne mu a ɛna na ɛno ɛrekɔ so ɛwɔ saa kwan no ɛsɔ no ebusia yegusu a wɔ saa nsɛm ne mu saa sɛ na ɛyi yɔ no na ɛkɔɔ so yɛ pa ne nsɛm ne bu ne mu mfumpa yɛ wɔ man Ghana ha na bra ɛyɛ mmɔfra ahodoɔ a wɔbɔ adeɛ de kyɛ wɔn kɔpie mu wɔ beaeɛ a ne ɛyɛ yiyɔ no ɛne adwumadie ne bibie nsɛm bebree na ne kɔɔ so ɛyɛ mmɔfra no so tribute ahodoɔ no ɛtumi hwie egu yɛ de ma wɔnom ɛmaame wɔn kyerɛ sɛ maame ne te ase no yɛ nneɛma bebree na ɛde ma wɔn a ɛnɛ akeka bom kra ma wɔn so aba bedu saa mpɛmpɛn so a wɔnom ɛwɔ yi nti tribute ne nneɛma ahodoɔ abrabɔ ɔbɛbɔ ɔyɛ ne afei ne achievements ne ho nkorɔ no bɛn nyina ɛnɛ yɛ dan yɛ ne a yɛn no yɛde yɛn nkae dum ɛde ma saa odi korɔ no na nsɛm ahodoɔ a ɛma no ɛde to dwa no yɛn to aso sei ɛfama.
By the children, led by Kimathi Rawlings. Mom, you live with a conviction that shaped both our family and the country. Yours was the consummate life of a tireless patriot, a woman who loved her country and celebrated it every opportunity she got. No problem was too small for you to personally tackle no problem was too small for you to personally tackle, and no solution was ever out of your expertise. You refused the idea that a woman existed only to be dependent on their husbands. You carved out your own mission, and as president of the 31st December Women's Movement, you ignited a force that transformed the landscape of women's rights and education that still resonates today. The movement established about 1,000 early childhood development centers, advanced adult literacy, set up income-generating activities, and led legal reforms granting inheritance rights to women and children. Mom, you championed the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child and fought relentlessly for the dignity and self-reliance of women. You were never just advocating, you were doing. You will be remembered as a woman of action. Your legacy resonates far beyond our family. The movement you led and your unwavering pursuit of equality will continue to shape Ghana for generations. As we grow older, we came to understand your uncompromising, kind, and relentless nature more deeply. You lived your values without reservation, believing that actions were either right or wrong, and never settled for the uncommitted gray space in between. This clarity, rare in politics, made you an exceptional leader. You taught by example that doing nothing was never acceptable. Your conviction and insistence on action gave courage to the countless women and inspired a nation's democratic process.
Egusu ejina science ne mu ana ebusua ma eye wono ma sese ade ato wono mani no omo so ejina simpie ni apaso den sembebre na netu dwa na omo so kakai ebra ma meti ase ne ma hodo obeye ye na afi nso eni won ka ati asefo hu bim ne ma hodo a omo timide kai ne won tie ne omo so kochire obo ne ani die di ma no sanse nei omo da omani a wonum ehu ne be wei eye abusua no e de ye nto aso enfama eno asem no na we ye free ha no ebusua no ye kwa ye nananom edie na chese ma mi be wo mo ensoso ma omo soso etimi awo wonom na chese nananom omo so e distribute ahodo ne hwie gu ede ma wonom nana omo chese ma me niti asine ma bebre na no ye mo omo a omo so de animunyam hye e ma ne sei e wo sa kwan no eso.
Grandmother moved through life like a flame that knew its own strength, bright, daring, and unafraid to burn with purpose. Her presence filled every space. To know her was to feel seen, lifted, and empowered. But beyond the power the world saw, who was she as a grandmother? What was it like to grow up beside that blaze of grace, elegance, mischief, and excitement? That is a story I want to share. She was the most fascinating woman, with stories pouring out of her every time she spoke. These were not ordinary stories. They were vibrant, dramatic, action-packed tales, delivered with a spark in her voice that made you feel as though you were living these stories right beside her. She found humor in the most unexpected ways, in the unexpected corners of life. Only she could transform National Geographic into a telenovela, turning the animal kingdom into prime-time entertainment. With Grandma, glamour never rested. Even at home, she pranced around in high-heeled slippers, as if elegance itself were a language she spoke effortlessly. A quiet reminder that beauty for her.
Na the National Democratic Congress NDC amenyo ko no so bo anan ko pie mu wayi na sesanse mami eba na ye NDC amenyo ko na woni ni kuna wenya ne ba bi ko mampani dada Jerry John Rawlings, His Excellency, and Omabo Juma ye power, Sakwan, so na bro muko pie when this amenu kono, munya for fee via vi call te our no, chocho for penima, and this amenu koni, Jana Simpiania Paso Casa, or Chim se koba say, ye boy this amenu koni de nipen so ma fema babedu sa brea, or munsimi ye ma meaning who can in films and say a bano, say ye sit down foundation, ne pa, name MPP amenu, and this amenu kono. Wono metimi abom modi abedu sam pempen so e dia na chese o ma ho odin ni o mu fifire ka ho nti ne ma me na to na wadan nani ahweban ya na ehu behia yie so mo de say munyam hye no ebre no e wo sa kwan ni se munsam ni nchemu no eni.
She prayed from the background. She was at the very center, organizing women, building structures, shaping strategy, strengthening grassroots, and helping give birth to a party that was not just political, but deeply connected to the people. The history of the NDC cannot be told without her name spoken boldly and with honor. She was not an observer of the struggle. She was an architect of its success. She was not a mere participant. She was a pillar, strong, unyielding, indispensable. Her election in 2009 as first vice chairperson of the NDC was a recognition of her stature as a founding mother of the party, one whose influence could never be wished away, revised, or forgotten. When the time came, she once again defied all limits and became the first woman to contest the presidency of the Republic of Ghana, a testament to her courage and her lifelong message that leadership is not a man's birthright. Today, as we mourn, we also celebrate a woman who lived with intention, who spoke a truth without fear, and who served this country with unshakable conviction.
Ebusia ye free ho na ya to aso e won sem ni mu a na ye His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ono so gba na kopie mu wo dwumedie na sia ni nyina no ono so koche ni so ani odo ni ahofa mama meti ase ni ma wo ye bo a ndisi amani ko ni o mining kan kro ne woni ho no ono so de ni bo a eno edi sefata atwa to no etimi ekoma no no che se ma me ekoba ne se ye woman empowerment ya se man so betimi nya tumi ni ahoden na eba na mamuo ni amane osemo musu timi gino omnan so pampe e wo sa kwan ne so no e na timi de ba ya eboa e man so hu se wo musu wo mu eye wo musu betimi aye bibi di ama wonom e ho nti na e woni hoi en monyam hyae no twato a wo de kwa adakamena mu no e ho be nya ye pass ye de ma no e wo sa kwan so.
Naidu was far more than a former First Lady. She was a pioneering leader, an unwavering champion of women's empowerment, a trailblazer in our political landscape, and a deeply committed patriot. Her life story is one defined by boldness to speak, to challenge, to lead, and to stand resolutely for what she believed was right for Ghana. As First Lady, she redefined the role and transformed it into a platform for national development. Through her inspirational leadership of the 31st December Women's Movement, she expanded opportunities for women and girls, especially in rural communities where support was most needed. She championed literacy programs, reproductive and maternal health, early childhood education, and economic empowerment initiatives long before these became central themes in our national development agenda. Her work touched thousands of families and laid the groundwork for many of the gender-sensitive policies and social interventions that Ghana benefits from today.
Egusejina sansemo no na brao Mami Joyce Bawa Moktari Kasari Pena His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wono so di nhwere ahodo kogu Mami Kunedu Ajima Rollins ni na mweni na no wo kire ebuo ene ani so e de amano ene woda na ene anya de so betimi ehu ni biem ti ebuo ni ani de esefata no ehu nhwere ena otimi de komaye e wo sa kwan no eso na wo kire mama me no ene bra na odeti atasfo asase so no wo ye niema bebre na ye dan ye ni aye hu ni biem no ehu buo ni de na ehu behia ye pa so otimi de kopie mo de ma no e wo Black Star Square I know enya asem ketro akra state barrier na due e course so dendende wo man Ghana ha no enumu amane boni mu nkyeremu abra His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ensutu anama wo sa kwan ne so no ehu mfonyini e na wo hwe no na ye free ho na ya to aso nsem ni mu a eye 31st December Women Movement omoso so kopie mu eye yiyo na say na omokra de ka eye onoma enam soma manya atumi ni ahoden eni afen so omo eba mani osem ni afen ye ngira ne mema ensi akan wo sa kwan ne so a omutimi nya mu akokodro no wo mo so ko sanse nei wo mo panyi eni wo mo kan nini ena omo eda omani omo hu ni biem to omo so kopie ma obode nsem bebre na etudwa KFM TV ye to aso sei edi amamu.
Articulate, principled, and deeply dedicated to the people She said, she taught us to be fearless, to stand for justice, and to serve with integrity. Her voice carried the wisdom of experience, the strength of conviction, and the hope of a brighter Ghana with many more women contributing effectively at the decision-making levels. Even beyond Ghana's borders, Her Excellency Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings stood as a symbol of African womanhood and leadership. She represented our nation in international forums, championing gender equality and children's rights. She brought global attention to the struggles of triumph of African women, securing partnerships and opportunities for strengthened to work of the movement. That strengthened to work of the movement. Sorry. As we reflect her life, we see a legacy that is vast, enduring, and immeasurable. Her work lives on in every woman who gained economic and social independence through the movement. It lives on in every child who benefited from the DWM preschool, the parents who sent their children to the daycare so that they could concentrate on their work. It lives on in every community uplifted by her programs.
Na ye bra ye 31st Women December movement for so nkopie mu kasawie ye pe na ye all students at the march motor for so kopie mu ani nyina no wo mo so kasa mo che se ma me Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings na ho fama na ni oden ene afen so anamontuo ne niema bebre obeye ye no kofo bebre na na di nani ehwe ye esua bibi na ye different nei woni ho bie ma no mo so de o mo kan bom e de ahye na nimonyam no sei e no mo de to aso e wo sa kwan ne so.
Nana and Jerry John stood with us after we left Achimota School, helping to raise funds for our 25th and 50th anniversaries, always committed to giving back to the school that shaped us. As we look ahead to Achimota's centenary celebration, their absence will be deeply felt. Nana, we will miss your spirit, your dedication, and your presence as we honor the legacy you helped us build. On behalf of our schoolmates from GIS and UST, but especially from the 7 years she spent in the great city of the Outlaws Hills, we thank Nana Konadu for her friendship, for helping us win sporting events, for cheering us on, for encouraging us to do our best, and for entertaining us with her singing and dancing. We cherish the memories of our time together. Rest in peace, dear Accra. From Gambanga.
Na bra ye ma me Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, former First Lady or Theatres for Assassination no, and ye brebi by ya watching who free ye the National Democratic Congress and this menu ko no ankasa kote na menu kwa na edi endaso ye National Democratic Party. Na bra yi yo ne koso enedwe wono mo dom sa ko ne so bo anan kopie mu e wo hwa nsem bebre na no mo kafa ma me ne ho a ye to aso sei e dia mamo.
The NDP, she was not only our founder but our guiding light, a mother, a mentor, and visionary who believed in service above self. Her moral strength, intellectual clarity, and compassion made her a unifying figure and a source of inspiration to all who served under her. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings carried herself with grace and purpose. embodying integrity in both public and private life. She taught us that leadership is not inherited, but earned through sacrifice, courage, and the pursuit of justice. Her patriotism, coupled with unwavering advocacy for the underprivileged, reflected her lifelong commitment to national progress. She lived for Ghana, worked for Ghana, and left behind a legacy that will forever guide the path of National Democratic Party and the nation at large. A life that shaped a nation.
Na senya yi yo no nkofo ekuku da mani ntina achosho we bebre na akopie mu odwumedie no ase ne nam so Emma Paramount Chief Edema Domia Bra eyo munyafo bafo wusu bedi akono so gba nan ne mrantie ekopie mu a na enya asem ketwa kra ne nyina no so de ebuo ne eni de etimi kwa akoma maame ne nyina no sene wo kai maame no ote ase de na wonim fa ne ho eye omokokwe mu asem de omoka de na omoyi ne maame ni ho no na chese yi akoye nkoja ade to obi eni a wono antimi nyi so obi na yima no na ya ade se wo so no so kopie mu na okokire se odon so wo ho e wo sa kwan ne so enam so ma baafo wusu bedi akọ Paramount Chief Edema Domia Bra no so ba anan kopie mu e wo eyiyo na se e wo sa kwan ne so ne nyina na buo ne ani so ne ani die last respect se ne potokase me be ka no ono so kokire ne die Edema no e wo sa kwan no eso enti eguso e wo sa ensem ne mu na ye abusua de ma eye ma me kunedu Ajimai Rollins a won ka ti asefo hu biem ye boni din a ni ade ye de ehun nsem no akwakoya areho no e de aka ne din ho no ebusia nso kire se Nyankopon fa ne kra ne nipadua nsie yie kosisi ye be san so ehia biemu san se sisi ano ye de na akwakohye fom de aka ne yo ne Nyankopon temu asem ti obo ade ankasa mfa ne nsie Abraham kokomu kosisi ye be san so ehia we ebusia ene nsem bia wo mo edi tu edwa ye nto aso fama
And currently with grace and still in equal measure, the casket is being lowered into the vault as the children observe with grief and sorrow. A gesture both intimate and eternal. White petals cut.
I was saying, no one sem ne de na ya rehuye pa o mai ni nyina no na chese su eni areho na ahye ma enam se sisia no eye former first lady ma me konedu Ajimai Rawlings se de yakaka kata na chikrakra ni nyina na busua no eni adofo koja momo e wo sa kwan ne so ye gina sansem mi so na yatonkra abasisia ye ba ye to ansem ne so enenwume e de amam.
Edru sabrace from ko ewa femo so we dwedini a ye krado se woni ya hwefo benya nketa wode ewo dwede kwanso se de be ya wadwuma no ebe tumpo ma afiwe enye krabe hwema wo ewo KFM TV Christmas don't come so
ye meje di fo ina akwanya se mo be hwen ewo KFM TV Christmas don't come eso se na ye fidie no echeche ne du eche na nipa dodo na ehwe yenti na be san atwetwe dom e de abro no enu nti na ye flo se bra ne be bo wo no mane hu dero ewo KFM TV Christmas don't come eso se na be ya ubenya afasodio bebre na ewo eso
to sa e de aframo a mo bie biedwuma ahodo ewo Ghana se mo mbra money embedidwa ewo KFM TV Christmas don't come so
anu to bet me afrain ewo ya homa true for so 0548790444 ana 0246239070 na ya nu edidwa kama ewo KFM TV Christmas don't come so
KFM TV Christmas don't come
bra na ya
endudwa
Science and that's a more quaba being found by KFM TV and you may know Sia Cassian Sunye. Na ye to ansem so de ye dwedi ensem and amede to aso de amamo. Na enche bia ni kopiem we office of the special prosecutor. Eye onmunya foki seja benda no de nsem bebre na abeto dwa e de fa ye SML. Eye contract na ehu a wo chese na niema bi nkoye e wo sa kwan ne so nam so market asese dwedi bi etimi so e was our kwan so ye strategic mobilization Ghana Limited ekuno nenumu e na ye mranim ni edema sa ku ya ba montinimu a waba bekasa ye Cephas Boyo wono e kiremu se brass ansem ni nkomotwetwe na ekoso ni mono no mo che cement mi wase no e ba ye no na chese ni na na ya memu eni afenso amanyo sem kwan so a ketase hwedwedi etimi so no openya ba montini kiremu se da bi bo nya no sia no na ye dwedie ho asɛmti na emum na nyese se bio no ye wo hye ya amanyo semachi aye katasumu mu aso aye ne mabinum a eno ensem fatemu nchemu ni amane bone nto aso no sei eno panyi edemai.
Now, contrary to the OSP's insinuations, the establishment of SML in 2017 was a natural diversification step by the businessman with decades of experience in logistics, trade, and industrial systems. His credibility, capital base, and operational history backed by existing entities such as Evans Timbers Limited and Evertex Logistics Limited predates his engagement in technology-driven revenue assurance space. This is somebody who has been doing so well. He's a self-made person, way before the formation of SML. Mr. Edusei began his entrepreneurial career as a bulk importer of used clothes from Europe and the United States between 1988. You see, you are shocked. 1988. You see, you are shocked. And 2002. He later transitioned into timber processing and afforestation from 1995 to date. From 1995 to date. Mr. Evans Timbers is a free zones registered enterprise engaged in timber processing and export of finished woods products to Europe, Canada, USA, and Asia. His company, Evans Timbers, not only processes, it doesn't just process, but also finishes and exports its own products, reflecting vertical integration and industrial compliance. As a pioneer in afforestation, Mr. Edusei is documented among the few large-scale private contributors to forest regeneration programs. You can check it. You can fact-check what I'm saying right now. That Edusei owns perhaps the biggest teak plantation in Ghana. In 2003, Mr. Edusei established Evertex Logistics Company Limited. It's a company specializing in mining support services, heavy equipment supply, and stockpiling operations. The company supplied major multinational firms such as WBHO, South Africa, Newmont Ghana Limited, Goldfields Ghana Limited, and Anglo Gold Ashanti, demonstrating its established industrial and logistical footprints long before SML creation. You see somebody like this was used as political patronage. It's sad. You don't do this to ourselves. There is no evidence of political sponsorship, procurement influence, or financial impropriety linked to Mr. Edusei. You can check. If anybody has anything, let us know. His business profile, long-standing commercial reputation, and proven competence is regulated in regulated sectors refute any notion of political fronting. Mr. Edusei is a self-made industrialist whose integrity, business independence, and professional legacy render the OSP's claim unsubstantiated and contrary to the factual record.
I was saying, you know, so now I am fair, Jadian Sam, no brave, na I die in home brass, see, I near you, BBA, away, need you there, and Sam. Ebusai nda senior nsem ni nyina we nigide mu mfa ma wa ebra Charles Kojo Fosu Daddy Lumba High Life nyumtuni anu abonwum aye cheye wo my Ghana ha wo ti nananu mo nse do no ene na yiyo na chi na afi eye no kra yenyan wie na ewu na chi no ensem bebre na pempen edeba ni nyina aye akosua se wa na yira no di kan wade no ena afi oni ni ja ye chi no wodobroni Priscilla di okofa na chire no metimwase kakra ekoso ni wentwi ikoso omontem dendende nam so krama eye December bosom ni da na etoso nsia omo hyeye aye odobroni date ode ba ese nko omo hwe se iyo ne bekoso no ene ekopie mu okoto akoso ase wase won te ase ne nte ase kira eme iyo ne nkoso sanse wono nya yire wono ene ye yire kuna ne so so che se ontimi ndi kuna no wono ne betimi edi kuna sanse on na legally ye wade no ene asem di akoto for say training kra abebi asante hene na afin so ene nam court ni ade a ene court sat na ase na emu nseme ba nyina nte si ade kuna no mu mienu nyina iti bi disanse mu nyina no ye wade omo bra kosi ase wani wono dobro ni na hwe Daddy Lumba kosi se nei wo nka ati asefo ho ebiemo na bra mo call court wie no akosi ase wa chifo no ene omo pie court ba montiri mo no na chese omo feel so disappointed sene broni be ka no sene ensem bi call so bubu for ho na chese enkoye fa ma omo kora inteni ohwe maami ogina ho da ene ne nsem o ka gira ne se ko ba se na ba court dem so be ka wa asem ye chem se bi mu MP abonten na eho intiminda wo kakra sambra ne ye hye ne da ben se ma na maame no wo ka eno no intin nsem no dia ko wi ase gira ne se odobroni a ye presla obetimi ediku na na afin so akosu ase wa ono so ye eyira ono so edi kan a no ne Daddy Lumba tiase a sa no mba bejan no ono so ye kunani inti as say de santi ase na ye adwuma na fe na omo ba be hyeda eyiyo kese no betimi akoso na nka date ahodo e ba no na ye 6 December na 13 December se sa date ni nyina no enye adwuma biem ti kwota atena ase ehu se kunafo mienu na ewo sa kwan we so no na ye ba be hwe na date nso metimi dia ba betudwa wo sa kwan no se be ya Charles Kojofo su Daddy Lumba ebetimi akwa kata na chi wo sa kwan no so nti sansem ni mo no update aba ewo ho no eno no na ene o content an fidie ne so a ene team odobroni na team akosua sewa ne obi e jubilate team akosua sewa ne buefu na team odobroni so di ewrosie ene ententan fidie no ebu ne mfom papa anya asem ketwa yenyina so ne efa yimenu nsi akase no embra ewiye ye kwa ne da abo afo no masi KFM Musical Center Talent Microfinance na afi dadaba take up somo ebo ye shudom ye den sema hodo no ebrem ye sorry so dia na ye be hie bi maage adwada edi no eye fiafo sia odua homa sesre bi di frame me fia maka